so I leaned in.
So if somebody try to sue you, tell them Ant got you. And I tagged it. No, I didn't tag it. Yeah, I tagged it. No, I didn't tag it.
No, I got it. They haven't. It's on them. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Porterweight Podcast. We're live today. Compliments of the Hall of Fame. I get to come back home and go live. Get some more live action in. Carson hates it. You hate me in general. What's going on? There's something here.
Say hate, but
hey, yeah, I use a strong word, but there's something here.
I don't think I'm as.
You know how you look at somebody, you be like,
But here's
despicable. That's what I get from him.
Yeah, there's certainly times that's the case, but I feel like my mindset of lives is typically after you've done a live. That's where you are, where you're like, yeah, it didn't end up being as exciting as I thought. Like I feel like when you're on the way down after a live, that's where I reside. I reside in that little valley.
How and why?
Right there. Because usually you're like, yeah, it was okay, and that's where I'm like, it's okay. It's alive. We got to do a show, which is cool.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for hanging on, waiting on us. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the producer on this one. He
Unbelievable, really?
Not sharp today. He wasn't.
He's looking for a button to click.
Yeah, see, not sharp today. He can't find it. He gonna cut us off. What the hell?
That wasn't me.
No.
I was late as well, you know.
Yeah, that's
Wifey's birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy
Happy birthday to everyone's favorite Zittel.
Yeah,
as I told
yeah,
her,
she's
Samantha.
a big supporter of the podcast. Yeah.
Happy birthday, baby. I love you. Happy birthday. Thank you for being the best wife in the world, best mother in the world. I love you so much.
And best fan of the show.
Yeah.
Did she see that?
She will.
June 14th, most important day in the world, or what fight?
Absolutely. June 14th and June 21st, most important days in the world.
Yeah,
my son and my wife's birthdays. Yeah.
Your
And what
son's
fight?
birthday is June 21st.
It is.
My mom's birthday. I forgot that. Yeah.
Shared greatness.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Both people I'm big fans of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Of
as bad
Leonardo
as me,
too?
but-
Oh, he big
Gotta
fan.
be.
Big
Yeah,
fan of that guy.
gotta be.
Yeah.
we
Next
shouting out
superstar.
birthday. Shout out to Uncle Rick. Uncle Rick ain't gonna let us use the house in Big Bear.
Oh yeah, shout out to him.
Oh, shout out
Yeah,
Uncle Rick.
And shout out
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not even going to be there, but I'm going to
Yeah.
shout
No,
out.
no, no.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
invited.
Oh, okay.
He has a mansion on the beach on the
and
lake
shout out
in
to
Big Bear.
Uncle Luke.
No, this is real people. Okay.
Uncle Luke's
Uncle's
not
a real person.
Man, we
Shout
don't
out
know
to
damn Uncle Luke.
Luke Skywalker, 2 Live Crew. Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, I want to shout out to my guy
Uncle Luke.
Yeah.
on Instagram, Garage Boxing Gym. He got a gym out in Seattle, Washington. Didn't have like the funds and everything to open up a gym and his own building and everything. My man said no excuse and turned his garage into a gym. He went on OfferUp and bought and got a lot of bags, everything, and just set up for the kids. And they train in his garage, outside his garage, and no excuse. He getting it done out there in Seattle, Washington.
And
I'll be
safe.
up there to check you out, man. I was impressed.
Absolutely.
I really was impressed. Hey, certain things impressed me.
Why did this episode start out like an acceptance speech?
We got family out there in
thank you
Seattle,
to-
so I'll
thank
definitely
you
hit
to
that. But
Al Heyman. Obviously needs to be said.
What you doing?
I can't thank Al Heyman.
Yeah, of
We're
course
thanking
you
everybody
can.
else. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Al Heyman.
yeah, so
Just because it's not as in
Showtime.
vogue anymore,
Yeah.
doesn't mean, yeah.
with that being said, I won a lot of world champion, or not world, but a lot of national championship titles.
I was like,
I know, I'm tripping. I'm tripping.
Well,
I won a lot of national championship titles training in a shed that my dad built out when we were young. Same thing, you know what I mean? So that's the thing about boxing. I was telling somebody the other day, like it's a coined phrase that I don't particularly like, but boxing is a poor man's sport. I hate to hear that, but it for the sake of words is true. And with that being said, a lot of kids out there don't think that you need the nice gym, the nice big ring, the pro size
best equipment.
All you need is a street. Because I won some national tournaments training on the street. It kind of is what it is, you know what I mean, with this sport. And those who are able to work through those kind of environments are the ones who are strong enough to work through almost anything.
You know what makes champions?
Adversity. Adversity. Yeah. I couldn't think of the word.
I was gonna say dollars. I don't know why.
Adversity. Carson is back.
Yeah, I'm back.
So go ahead and
Hey,
kick us off.
last week we was running all run plays. Now Carson back. We can open up the
Yeah.
offense.
Go ahead, Marino.
Come on,
Yeah. So I
Who would you want to be?
Baker.
as a quarterback.
I hate to, you were so quick and so hard with
Curious
that.
to see his
Hey,
answer.
Oh yeah, Marino's probably my favorite
knew it was
quarterback.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm
I thought you was loyal to the soul, baby.
I think Marino best quarterback of all time.
Oh, come on, TB, baby. TB, you better deflate these balls.
It's all about there's
Football. Y'all so
there's accomplishments, and I just think talent-wise, I thought Marino was the best.
he never got it done.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching the episode last week, though. You guys had
Well,
Leonard
you had
on.
Oronde Gadsden as your best wide receiver.
OJ McDuffie.
No, I'm just kidding. He had Mark Duper and Mark Clayton, I know.
Yeah.
But no defense
yeah,
and no
you know
running
that.
game.
Oh, come on, man. Terrell Bucker.
So back to you guys' running game.
that was towards the end with no
Back to the
offense.
running game last week that you guys had without the quarterback.
I said we ran a couple of
I
reverses too.
I watched the episode,
Wildcat.
going through a lot of gems, a lot of jewels from Leonard Ellerby, who I'm a fan of for sure.
Some people were not a fan of him in the
Or us. Or us.
Yeah, yeah.
With the way we-
I'm not a fan of myself, so that's fine too. But and then I was honored that just for a brief moment, a title unification fight was mentioned.
He said a brief moment.
And last
about 30
Tuesday,
seconds.
yeah, a week from today, a week behind, Naoya Inoue.
Oh, yeah, Carson.
What's his name?
I technically keep it as the simplified
Hey, you said that.
Naoya Inoue, but there's definitely
Inoue.
yeah,
Inoue.
Hey,
Inoue.
he's the second monster behind Berlanga.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I heard that on the telecast. I was like,
In Nonito's, again, we've mentioned 100 times. Nonito is a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. He had this resurgence, which we were all impressed by. I think all of us were impressed by that. But
Sorry, I didn't.
yeah,
cool, be cool.
Yeah, come on, be professional.
Ear itched. My ear itched. I'll go
But-
about better next time.
He didn't have to fight Inoue again.
But he had to.
He really didn't, though.
But he had to.
I don't think so. I respect the champion spirit of doing it and feeling like you need to. But if I was Nonito, yeah, I'm not gonna fight that guy again. He fought him again, and
That's part of
That's
what
kinda
makes
the way it
Nonito.
absolutely,
Yeah.
he hasn't officially retired, right?
no.
Because to your
I'm not
point,
positive you will.
well, to your point, if that's not your last fight, why take it so soon or right now? You know,
yeah, but I think that
he had a
just-
good first round. He had a solid first round until.
until he
Don't
was-
start with me.
until he was
You
dropped.
know what I'm saying, man. He
Yeah.
had a solid first round.
Yeah, I just think what you saw was why that guy is on everyone's list of the top 3 pound for pound. Like he is.
You can't deny that dude.
No.
I don't get it.
Unbelievable.
Carson, I got him number one.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at you for that.
I know you're not.
Yeah,
I need
he's unbelievable.
for number. I think right now, Inoue, if he stays at 118, you know, like Idor Jorfe, and like he could be one of maybe the greatest 118 pounder we ever seen. I'm fine with that. Beat up Paul Butler, and if he stays at 18, cements himself as the GOAT there. That's great, but
Paul Butler also seems like he wants to fight, which I can respect, but
He's a champion.
he
And the
didn't.
payday.
But it wasn't like he wasn't like, yeah, you know, I really think I got him. He was like, I've lost before. Like people think I'm gonna get killed. Like I've lost before. It happens.
sometimes
Fair
that's a more dangerous mindset against an underdog than a guy who's deluding himself into saying I'm
thinking
better
they
than
can
him.
do
I'll
it.
be, you know, maybe the guy who
Go
says
ahead with your Inoue.
you know,
I stomped on it for a second.
no, that's fine. That's what Ruiz did with Joshua. But if he wants to be, if Inoue is sitting there saying, what do I got to do to be the best fighter in the world, pound for pound? What do I got to do?
saying that.
Okay, what do I got to do to leapfrog a Terrence Crawford, a Usyk, these guys?
yeah.
Fight
The-
Errol first.
Fight Stephen Fulton at 122.
Absolutely.
If you beat Stephen Fulton at 122, that's the best thing he can do to make his claim as the best fighter in the world, not just one of the best. And I don't know if he wins that fight. I might give the edge to Fulton. He's a natural 22, Inoue starting at 12 and 15. And Fulton has that, he could really fight well off the back foot, but he's active.
He's actually the bigger man
active.
in that fight.
He is the
which
bigger
is
man. So
very small.
So I'm not saying the monster can't get it done. He's one of the most special fighters in the world easily, but that's the ultimate test for him. After Butler, after you become undisputed, Fulton's the one if you want to prove you're number one. And
Yeah, that fight would be, and I texted you guys. That's like, you talk about just
big
an
fight.
unbelievable fight because
One of the slipperiest fighters in the game right now is
Cool
Stephen
boy stuff.
Fulton. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the monster is one of the more explosive,
Yeah.
you know, offensive fighters.
That's
so.
a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Technically,
And
stylistically.
height wise, I think they're maybe the same height.
It's an inch and a half. It's an
Fulton
inch
might
and
be a
half.
little taller.
He's 5'6" and a half.
Are they close? But
Yeah,
I
he
know
5'5".
I know the reach. I know Fulton has them by maybe 3 or 4
3
inches,
inches,
in reach,
yeah.
which is that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And he gonna
Yeah.
need every inch.
I was just thinking that.
It's
Yeah.
it's not any fight that the monster goes into, I'm like, oh yeah, he's winning that. That one, I'm like, whew, that's a tall task.
I don't know if Fulton can keep him out for him.
That's a great one.
I don't
for
know.
us.
Hey, if we don't get that one, would you guys be accepting of this one?
Oh boy,
Gary Russell Jr.
Ooh, and
against Fulton.
I'll take either one.
either one. Yeah.
If we can't get one of them.
Well, Gary's at 26.
Gary, but
I'd rather
Gary's little.
I'd rather see if
Gary's gonna beat the dog shit out of you.
I know.
Put you in the headlock next time we see you, just so you know that.
There's a lot of really good fighters right around those.
I like that fight.
Yeah,
Gary gives him hell. Gary's not in the ring a lot, but Gary is special.
Yeah, and in a way, whew, you talk about special performance and great walkout. Guy rocking the guitar in there.
Missed that.
He stops Fulton.
Monster? No, he doesn't stop him.
Oh,
Does he have to stop him to win?
No,
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
Both of them are on the rise. I think Monster's top 3 wherever you have him in that pound for pound.
and the elite fighters agree with you, like Crawford.
Yeah.
Put him at number 2
Yeah,
behind himself.
and I have Fulton top 10 pound for pound. So
wow.
I think Fulton's run, and also that wasn't elaborated much on the episode, but Fulton's got an unbelievable run. He's got undefeated fighters up and down his resume. And Danny Roman is, I said when I was on, he was the 3rd best fighter in the division, and he made him, and he shut him out. Yeah. So great performance there.
And if he's not going to if it's not the Fulton fight's not going to happen, even though maybe this isn't fair to the legend, but I made Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez moving up to 18. If we're not gonna get that,
I would just close my eyes that whole fight. I wouldn't even want to see what would happen in that fight to either of them.
And then with Fulton, I just want to see, would he have because he showed some good athleticism in his feet in a way. Would he be able to punch on the move? And so against Fulton's movement.
Both I don't know. He's Japanese, right?
Yep.
I don't know enough about them and their styles to know if they teach their guys how to move and punch at the same time. I don't know.
You didn't face too many in the amateurs.
I didn't face too many in the amateurs, and I haven't had enough of my eyes on anyway to just simply say the monster can do that. So.
I don't know if he's had to fight a guy that's made him do that to that extent.
Yeah, or that has been good enough to make him do that to that extent. Like some people tried, and
Daz Marina's tried.
Yeah, and that poor bastard got his liver busted up. But
man, this is a hell of a fight. I'm trying to think who will win it.
Yeah, it'll be unbelievable.
And
fight.
Just quietly sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm okay for a Fulton Figueroa too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was a close fight.
That was
Shout
out
I didn't
to
think
the
it was
sister.
maybe as close as other people thought.
No problems.
Yeah, but and then outside of that, over the weekend we had some fights. Do we want to go? I'll let you guys. Who makes the call? Munguia or Berlanga? Which one?
Berlanga.
Yeah, because I actually saw that one.
Okay.
Or then let's go
knock
Munguia.
out. Yeah, knock it out.
Okay, so we'll go Munguia first. When Munguia just goes back to being himself, that's when he seems to be at his best. So he's getting outboxed by Kelly, and you had it pretty comfortably for Kelly at the time.
Yeah, he was up.
You were probably about 2-2?
2-2.
Okay.
And it's not a matter of him not fighting like himself, but that was a lot in part because of Kelly and his movement, his boxing ability. I was impressed. I'd never seen that guy, never heard of him.
Oscar hadn't heard of him.
Yeah.
And then also said he had heard of him and had been studying him.
So Carson won't kill me. Kelly was giving him problems till he wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but so Kelly, he was outboxing him. He was giving him a hard time. And he also, not even just from the boxing perspective, being on the back foot, moving around, he was hitting him with some big shots. I think he almost
second round he hurt him.
I think he buzzed him. Yeah, he definitely buzzed him in one of those early
Counter
rounds.
left.
He definitely took his legs away for a moment in that second round with that leaping left hook. It wasn't a classic leaping left hook with the power and the legs and all that kind of stuff. So it didn't have the effect that it should have had. But I wrote something down in there. I'll wait till we get to it. But I could see where the boxing ability is where Munguia is weak. Yeah, he's got to stalk you, but nobody's taught him how to scoot forward, how to skip forward and get to you, and also behind the hands. And that just is, you need that. You got to work behind your hands, especially when you got somebody moving on you the way that Kelly was.
It's also and Kelly fought great, but he's not. Nobody considers him a top fighter at 160. No offense to him, but
Yeah.
and the fact that he was doing that to him, and Munguia has trouble cutting off the ring, and he also has trouble defensively. Like he
He
hit
drops
a lot.
the right when he throws the left, big time.
Y'all just telling on him, huh?
I mean,
I'm
he
just
can-
telling
he can
him.
pass
Tells
for
on him.
abuse. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Look, every
I
time
just
he
have-
throws the left, he drops the right.
I mean, I have eyes, but
Ant is getting very good at this.
Yeah, because I didn't notice that. I didn't notice
yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't. So it's tough because it's like, okay, if you're having trouble cutting off the ring, but when you get there, you're not getting hit with any shots. It's different. But like, you have
big
trouble
dog-
cutting off rings and you're still getting hit with shots. It's not a good combination.
And also, you shouldn't be calling out Charlo.
Yeah, and we'll get to what's next for him for sure. What was your notes? He gets the. To be fair,
So I'm watching
he
this-
gets the stoppage and 3 knockouts.
oh, yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
he gets 3 knockdowns in the 5th round. And wins.
Big hook to set it up, and then I was impressed. He went with 2 uppercuts. Oh, you didn't see it.
The hook was-
You got to see.
I'm watching it now.
If you
I'm
watch
watching
anything,
I'm
watch
watching-
the
that's why I'm
knockout.
quietly
And a
just.
shout out to the ref, who I told Shawn I very much appreciated. So before the knockdown started, they had been tussling a little bit, holding, kind of pulling on each other. And he called time. He said, "Hey, cut the shit.
Let's fight.
Get back to the boxing."
Yeah,
And they did.
yeah,
Not for long for Kelly.
yeah.
Because seconds afterwards, he got
seconds.
put down.
yeah. Shout out to Tom.
Go
The
ahead.
rep, that was the ref in the
yeah,
ring.
Tom Taylor, I
he did.
believe.
He did a great job. He's one of my favorite refs in the game right now. But he went to 2 uppercuts, Shawn Taylor, to pretty much to end the fight. It was from the outside. You know, I'm not a big fan of somebody just throwing a lead uppercut from the outside. So my
Says
first
that next to a Navarrete
Right.
fan. Go ahead.
my first thought was like, why'd you go to that? And then he connected, and then they kind of separate a little bit, and then he comes right back with it again and drops him with the second uppercut. So I'm analyzing that because to me that is, you got to have precision, you have to have timing, and you have to have confidence to throw that punch. And we're talking about this young kid growing up in this sport right in front of our eyes. I see improvement in terms of intellect and what you're willing to do and what you're capable of and what you saw. I was trying to see, what did he see that let him know that the uppercut was the shot? So you threw it the first time, maybe that was by luck.
Yeah.
But when you go to it twice, that lets me know that was something you
Fool me once,
read
shame
and
on
you
me.
saw. And I was impressed by that. So shout out to him for being able to find that uppercut, and pretty much I think that kind of sealed the deal for that fight. I wrote down Daniel Jacobs. This fight was talked about for Danny.
Daniel was in that? No, he wasn't.
He was in talks about getting the fight with Munguia. Vintage Daniel Jacobs fought like Kelly.
Yeah.
A lot of bounce, a lot of rhythm, in and out, a lot of punches, very consistent with the jab, great timing, great rhythm, all that. My man Daniel Jacobs, somebody tell him that I said this. Get
You have
back
his number, text
you.
him.
You got to go back to the old school.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to be able to rejuvenate yourself. It cannot be, this is who I am now. Who you are now is not who can beat Munguia. No disrespect. Who you used to be, find that guy.
Yeah.
That guy is where you solidify who you are. I texted him when I was at the Hall of Fame, and he said we'll be there someday. And it warmed my heart because I want us both to be there. Our first time going, we were there together. Our first time going, 2017. And then my thought became, how do you get here if you're not already here? This is definitely something that can get you to the Hall of Fame. And how can you get there? Being your old self.
Classic.
My man's got to figure it out, because for me, and I was talking with Terrence Crawford. Terrence said,
Don't snitch.
Terrence said, he said back in the day, because we were talking about guys that didn't make it. We've been there, and then we got into we got on the subject of Daniel Jacobs. He said, man, when I first saw Danny, I was like, ooh, that boy cold. Can't nobody beat him. He said, then I saw you fight him. I was like, ooh, that boy Sean cold. That's how cold Daniel Jacobs. When we leave the tournament and we still thinking about you, you cold. And I'm not saying he ain't cold no more. I'm just saying get back to your old self. Yeah. Get back to who you used to be, because a consistent jab, consistent movement, we see gives him trouble. You got something that Kelly don't got, and that's real power, real size at the weight class. And he's fighting at 168 now, I believe. So,
Danny?
Yeah, Daniel he is fighting at 168
And
now.
that's the Danny you fell in love with. We all fell in love with.
Absolutely, yes.
Another one of your contemporaries, they say, could match up with Munguia next.
Is
Demetrius Andrade.
I would love
That's
to
the
see
fight
that.
I've been wanting to see from Munguia.
I think Andre boxes years off.
Yeah.
But
I just like that fight because Andrade is so great early,
Yeah.
and then he likes to coast. And Munguia really gets better as the fight goes on. Like even in this fight, right? I guess he's losing some of the early rounds. He gets him out of there in the fifth, starts to come on, and like Shawn mentioned, the uppercut, and that is where he's skilled offensively.
when he's running,
Yeah.
when he's running his hands, and that's why I said like when he got him out of there and when he started doing it, that's when he was taking some shots. That's Munguia. Nobody's like, you know who's really defensively sound? Jaime Munguia, which isn't a knock. He's a great offensive fighter. And so I think that's what, like Zittel said, when he's running his hands, that's when we're like, okay, that guy is pretty damn special.
Right.
And the other fight, which Ant mentioned, was Charlo.
Oh yeah.
And God love Oscar. If everyone,
Somebody offered him $1 billion for
I saw
Golden
that.
Boy.
Take the $1 billion. Take whatever the
No,
offer
no.
was.
And he running
said-
for mayor of Vegas.
He said he could sell it for $1 billion, but then said I've gotten a 8-figure offer.
Take-
Yeah, I thought it was like
take that too.
Yeah.
They'll take that all that.
Right.
But so when everyone's telling the story one way and you're the only one that's telling the story the other way, typically,
Oscar on coke.
No, slow down. Hold
not
on.
gonna say all that.
God damn. Hey.
No, I'm not gonna say all
Because the
that.
picture
Hold
I
on.
just seen.
So
I
the-
love
I'm
Oscar.
just
so
Hey, hey,
so-
hey! I got a job. I live here.
yeah.
Damn it!
So the
From
whole
East LA.
yeah.
Love you,
so,
Oscar.
so the whole negotiation between Munguia and
You
Charlo,
gotta see his picture.
how it's
I
reported.
want to see it.
Show him his profile picture. Show it. We can get it bigger so Sean can see.
But
This is not the same Oscar that we seen fight in the ring.
But how it's reported,
Idiots who know boxing.
What's that?
yeah. But
Don't.
how it's reported from everyone, this negotiation between Charlo and Munguia, Steven Espinoza, everyone, get it together. They said it was agreed upon. Charlo signed, Munguia signed. It was going to be on Showtime, and then Oscar and Golden Boy get in and say, no, we want DAZN also a part of it, and that's where it fell apart. So then Oscar, for some reason, is saying, Charlo, grow some balls and fight Munguia. It's like, first off, Charlo agreed to sign him. He agreed to the fight, and Munguia agreed to the fight. You were the one that tanked it. So it's like, no, it wasn't his fault, and it's not Munguia's fault. Mm-hmm. Munguia, probably one of the more protected fighters in boxing, to be candid. Mm-hmm. I don't think he beats Charlo at this point.
I don't either.
But
I would pick
love the
Charlo
fight,
as
though.
well. But when you look at the Macias Montiel fight,
Yeah.
he was able to land some uppercuts on Charlo and land some good shots. Although I think Charlo would sharpen it up against
Yeah.
a better opponent.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I picked Charlo, but I don't count Munguia out.
I don't think I
yeah.
count Munguia out of any fight.
Right.
Like, even when I say I think Boo Boo outboxes him, he's a good enough, and Boo Boo's been hurt. Boo Boo's been down. Like, I don't think that's out of the question that could happen. I just would favor Demetrius Andrade. But, yeah, I think Charlo beats him as well. But we'll see what he does. I don't know. Just kind of let the training wheels off at this point. Like, he's fought some good guys, but just let him go. Like, let him fight these guys.
Sean, I'm gonna ask you this.
Is it ready though? Like, how old is he?
He's 25, I think.
He's 25, but he's 40 years old.
He's got 40 fights.
45,
Yeah.
25 years old.
Yeah.
He's
So
very,
It's time.
he's very, he's very,
Maybe when he's 80 and 0, he'll fight someone.
he's very green to me, Sean. Actually, you can see it in the box in the ring. He hasn't gone enough rounds. Actually, out of his 40 fights, only 6 went past 6 rounds.
When my first 10-round fight, I hadn't gone past 4 rounds before I had my first 10-round fight, and I went all 10. Maybe we'll talk about that someday. I had a couple of some adversity.
When you
in that
seen
fight.
holes, you seen holes.
No, I'm talking about for
Yeah, that's what I'm
myself.
saying. You seen holes that when you went back and watched yourself in that fight.
100. We'll talk about it someday because we have to, but we won't talk about it right now. But
Is it the fight I'm thinking of?
yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, back home in Cleveland. Yeah,
Oh, Russell Jordan.
yeah, that was my first 10-round
Jordan's
fight.
piece of his ass.
When he wobbled it,
No, Russell Jordan was like, what is he, 5'11"?
Yeah, he was
like,
big.
he was a
No, he was like 6'2".
Was he?
Yeah.
I
it
was,
looked like Kevin
I was trying
Garnett's
to down,
son.
yeah, I was trying to down. I was maybe trying to downplay it a little bit, but go ahead and take all your credit.
No.
You beat Usyk in the amateur.
No, my point is like, and what was different for me was that my dad trained me so hard. I said this is what I was telling the guys today at Bishop Gorman. Shout out to the JV team at Bishop Gorman. I spent some time with them today and spoke to them. I was telling them when my dad trained me so hard, because those guys are on JV, they want to make it to varsity, but they may never. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What am I? If I'm here, what am I doing here?" And they asked, "Did you ever feel like you were working hard for no reason? It was being wasted?" And then, long story short, I was telling them like my dad always worked me hard. I was knocking guys out in 1 or 2 rounds, if that. And I was looking at my dad like, why are we working so hard? My dad said to me, we're working hard so that once we have to, we don't need to figure it out. We're figuring it out now.
I like that.
And so it depends on who you are in your camp and all those types of things. But I gotta imagine that if Munguia at this point 40-0, your ass need to be ready for a 12-round war. And if you ain't ready for a 12-round war, shame on everybody that promoted you and got you to this point.
He's just getting to
He's
a
got
point.
a great trainer though. Eric Morales.
Yeah, Eric Morales. He knows a thing or two about boxing.
Well,
Favorite fighter?
Yeah, he's just him and Bernard.
He does. You've mentioned multiple times. And I think it's a great point of when you get to a certain level, you're at that level.
Yeah.
You can't just all of a sudden
can't turn
you
back.
can't fight there and then go.
No.
I don't know. Maybe I should go back. Like,
Can't turn back.
so I think you have to.
You're
You have
right.
to make it happen.
You're right.
But
And can you regress if you don't step it up?
Yes.
Can you start to take
if you
steps
just
back
keep
as a fighter?
just keep fighting kind of the same level of guy.
I keep it real because I kind of it's hard for me not to. Demetrius Andre, I feel like he's regressed over the years, but it's not his fault. He hasn't been consistent with his fights, and they haven't put him in the ring with consistent fighters that have been step up. And I do believe that I've seen some regression in his game. And I'm hoping that he can, just be one of those guys that can just snap of the
out
finger,
of it.
turn it on in a big moment. He hasn't had the biggest moments yet.
Yeah.
How can you be where he's at this point in his career and not have those big moments? So it's like kind of nature. The regression is kind of like inevitable.
So now he's gonna put you in a headlock, and Gary's gonna put Ant in a headlock.
And who'd y'all like?
Yo,
see
you
in the
said
ring
that.
back?
Huh?
And then De La Hoya as well.
Yeah, I don't no problem. I get Vargas on him. Who y'all want to see McGee in the ring with next?
I'm fine with either of those guys.
Janabek, Andrade, or Charlo.
I'm going-
Preferably
I'm going
Andrade or Charlo.
Andre.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I would like to see him fight Janabek.
Okay.
Maybe a more realistic fight.
And the winner fights
unfortunately.
one of the two of those
Yeah.
guys. I like that.
because both of them are the younger guys of the group that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And both of them-
Who would you guys like? Put it in the
Yeah,
comments.
go
Who
ahead
would
in the
you guys
comments.
They're gonna say Charlo.
Yeah. Whoa, unbelievable. He's talking about the Kanye. He's talking about the Kanye song.
Hold on.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Y'all know I'll just be messing with y'all.
Oh, now okay.
yeah, y'all
so
know I'll
then
just be messing with y'all.
The other young fighter we saw this weekend, Edgar Berlanga.
Edgar Berlanga.
It almost sounds like a naughty word. Like, girl, I'm gonna hit you with that Berlanga.
Edgar.
Hold on.
And let's
Everybody
but
on one
first,
today. What's going on?
Let's start out here. I'm just gonna say this a couple times.
Hey, is it just me and Carson over here like I'm the quarterback?
Well, no.
That's that.
I am trying. That's why I'm here bringing this in. But I'm going to tell you. I'm going to say it to you. Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah, no, I got it. I
Okay.
got it. No more Edward.
Because honestly, I'm sitting there watching the fight Saturday, and I'm like, damn, I don't want to talk about this fight because Sean's going to call me Edward
Yeah,
again.
no. Edgar, I got it. I
Yeah.
got it. I felt so
Just
embarrassed
go
about
Berlanga.
that. Yeah, I felt so embarrassed about
and then
that.
on undercard, Josue Vargas got stopped. We had LeBron versus LeBron. It was like spy versus spy
I was
in the
confused.
co-main. That was pretty cool.
confused. I turned it.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. So the two
Henry LeBron.
Yeah, the co-main.
Oh, yeah,
It was
yeah.
He's a good fighter.
Just
Luis
walked in the
LeBron
room
and
to
Henry
LeBron versus LeBron, but I've seen one of them fight
Yeah, it was
before.
spy versus
Henry.
spy. But and so the main event, I didn't think going into the fight, I didn't think Angulo was somebody that would give Berlanga a lot of trouble. Just because I think who would give Berlanga a lot of trouble was somebody who has good footwork, good movement, and Angulo not really that.
0 for 0 on all that.
Yeah.
What
But
did I tell you?
you thought it was going to be a 50-50 fight or closer to 50-50 than I did.
I'm like kind of like Carson. I figured his matchmakers picked a perfect opponent
That's
for
what I
him to
thought.
look good
Get
and
back
get a
on-
knockout.
yeah.
That guy didn't move. That guy was there to get hit, but my man was timid. What is it? Go
Mr.
ahead.
Porter. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Porter.
What I analyzed about that is exactly what I said the last time we spoke about Edgar Berlanga.
Bingo.
He's got to stay off social media. There's just so much coming at him, and I knew that he's not gonna be what we need him to be in this fight because I knew he's been hearing and listening. How do I know? Because you change trainers.
Yeah.
You don't have issue after issue, things you're not putting together in the ring, and mysteriously changing the trainer is going to be the answer to the problem.
Especially a very experienced and
Very
talented,
experienced.
highly regarded trainer in
Yeah,
Andre Rozier.
and maybe a little of my like personal
And
friendship
I'm not-
and relationship with
and
Andre.
I'm not knocking his current trainer.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh,
As
not at
familiar
all.
With him, but
Not at all.
It's the change that's concerning.
But when somebody that doesn't really know boxing looks at me and says, "Why did he change trainers?" The only answer I can give you, sir, because I know the trainer that he has, and his trainer's pretty good. I don't know why his trainer hasn't fixed some of the things going on to this point. So maybe that is a cause for him to change trainers. Yeah. But when he's got so many people look at him, telling him that he needs this, he needs that, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that, so on and so forth. Now what are they doing? They're gonna in order to take the pressure off of the fighter, you find other things to point it at. And they chose to point it at the training, and maybe we should change the training, and that'll get you right. No disrespect to his trainer, because I liked what I heard coming from him in the corner, and I liked the game plan. I thought the game plan was solid, but you don't have a fighter mentally or emotionally attached in the way that he can put down and put it together the way that it needs to be put together. I personally knew that it was going to be a tough fight for him because of the things that have gone on for him outside of the boxing ring. It matters, and it holds a lot of fighters back. Personal experiences, this or that person saying this or that about you, changing trainers because we're trying to figure this out, and we need to figure this out fast because you're on the fast. All of these, even the way that I'm talking, like it's hard to keep up with it. Yeah, and this is where he's at.
You're talking like Berlanga's.
Yeah, it's this is where he's at. I watched the Black Knight on the plane.
Highly underrated.
I know. I was like, don't talk about the movie.
It's a great movie.
Because I wanted, like, how do you talk about the movie? But do you remember when, of course you do, when the Joker's talking to Two-Face, and he says, do I look like a guy with a plan? I just do things, and I just, he
like
says,
a dog chasing
yeah, like I'm like a dog.
And by the way,
I don't know what to do with it if I caught it.
Dark Knight. Black Knight is what I thought.
Yeah, because I thought of Martin Lawrence.
Damn, my fault. Dark Knight.
That's the movie I thought was.
I didn't know what y'all was talking about.
I got you. How you talk about the Black Knight?
Dark Knight is my movie.
I know the Dark Knight is your movie, but what I don't even know. Like it just kind of the way he expressed that in that moment about how he would be catching the dog. That's kind of how Berlanga is now. It's so much going on, and it's going to be so hard to get him to the ring calmly, understanding the game plan, making adjustments, and winning fights in a professional manner the way that he should be at this point in his career.
I'm not sure what is his calling card now. Because for a while, we again said it was a little, I guess, gimmicky as far as the first round knockout, whatever. But he was this devastating puncher, knocking everybody out. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not saying doesn't have power, but is that his calling card? Because he hasn't really displayed much of that in these last few fights.
Well, is he as confident in committing to those shots?
Yeah.
Because he fought off the back foot a lot in this fight, as he was just marching forward, committing to everything, putting these guys on the ropes.
Yeah.
He just looks unsure.
I was
of
unsure
himself.
was exactly the word I was going to say.
And he doesn't. It's like you almost got to start from square one. I'm not a huge baseball guy, but sometimes there's these guys, they come up as rookies and they hit 35 homers, and then they slump and they hit 220 and they call it, they've lost their mechanics, and all of a sudden they're just the mechanics and hitting everything. They're trying to improve on so much at once that
everything gets out of whack.
Right. And I see that a little bit with Berlanga, and I don't know if he'll get his confidence back, and he's really a wait and see fighter right now. And I watched it in the lobby where the Hall of Fame was at, in the Turning Stone. Floyd was there, so everyone's huddled in the lobby.
What's up?
Yeah, Floyd was there watching the fight. Yeah. So Andre Rozier was watching the fight too. And just to show you,
Dre was there?
Yeah,
I didn't see him.
Yeah,
anyway.
And just to show you, that it's not always sour grapes. Dre wanted him to win the fight.
Yeah,
he's watching the fight as if he was, still in his corner. And I didn't score the fight. I only got to catch really rounds 4 through 10. And Berlanga was getting hit by the uppercut a lot by Angulo. And everyone in the lobby booed the decision, but I wasn't really scoring the fight. And I could just tell it was very similar to the Rolls fight. He was in hell. He was knitting. It was very tough fight, very competitive fight. And I think this also says something about Benavidez, who blew this guy away. That just shows you what a monster David is.
Did Top Rank possibly, and this is just maybe my theory, but they maybe do him a disservice with the first round knockout fighters that he was fighting?
I think they were. You got to promote your fighter and make money off of him. So he was knocking people out in the first round. Let's push.
But did they not did they do themselves a disservice? Because I think they did well. You got Fat Joe at these fights.
Oh, the people they
right.
put
Did
in
they
there.
do no? Did
They're
they do Edgar?
Did they do Edgar a disservice? Because
I don't know
when
if they necessarily picked every fighter like you're gonna get him in the first round and we're gonna
Yeah.
keep this streak going. I don't think that was their intent. I think that it was happening, and I don't know like where at what point they tried to stop it and it just continued. But what I can tell you is there's just some missteps in training. There's some missteps in his foundation, and that's why he is where he's at right now.
And he's still exciting. He actually went 8 rounds with someone and dropped him 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an exciting fight because he was putting him on the ground. He showed power.
Yeah.
But his fan base, let's be honest, is casuals. So he needs to to be a showstopper like
Yeah.
you've been.
Yeah.
Or people are going to stop showing up.
Yeah.
We will still watch. But
Yeah,
the
we-
casuals, the Fat Joes and all these,
Yeah.
they're not coming to the fights
We
anymore.
here talking about it right now because we understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe is loyal.
Yeah.
He's been loyal to this kid so far, you know.
Sean, is he not the same fighter since he's been put down in that final round?
I don't think that's it.
You don't.
I
feel like
honestly
that's it.
think he's got missteps in his foundation as a boxer. I'm not gonna say any names, and I'm just we keeping it real. Kind of is what it is. I know people that fought with him in the amateurs, and some people that went against him in the amateurs. There's a multiple people from the amateur system when he was in as an amateur. They said, "Oh yeah, he ain't nothing." These first round knockouts is just happening.
It's just that.
But he ain't like we've seen him. We saw him lose as an amateur. He didn't win this. He didn't win that. So on and so forth. And while that's starting to resonate itself, I do think that he's obviously much better now as a young man than he was as a kid or as a young, extremely young adult. But I think that you got to reel him in. You got to keep him in the lab much more. I'm not saying longer, but just much more. Instead of getting him back in the ring in the next 3 to 5 months, take 8. Really get to some work.
I think December was what he mentioned, and he wants to fight in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Which is where he also moved to his training camp. One name that was floated around that he said if the money was right that I think is all wrong for him is Jesse Hart.
That's very wrong for him.
He doesn't beat Jesse Hart
Yeah.
right now, I don't think.
Somebody just mentioned in the comments our guy Shane Mosley Jr. I don't think he beat Shane Mosley Jr.
I honestly don't think he beat Shane.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
So and then let me
a good
do this
fight.
because I feel like
I like that
I'm
fight.
it's
A great fight.
I really feel like I'm like judging this kid and I just got to be clear.
Because we were saying he was it. To be fair, over a year ago, me and you
Carson
thought
wasn't
no,
so.
you two and me
in
and
that
you did.
box.
We thought he was legit. We thought he had something.
Well,
I'm still
was
not saying he doesn't.
Yeah, I was just waiting for
Right.
the things that I'm not seeing now. I need to see a good jab, a solid jab. I saw a decent jab for the first part of the fight, but then
and double that thing up.
what comes after the jab, the double or the 1-2?
Yeah.
Like he's not thinking, he's not setting things up, and so I just want to make it clear that I'm expecting a level from this young man. I'm not seeing that level, and it's very frustrating for me. How does he get to that level? In my personal experience, and what I think he needs to do
Fix it in the
is
gym.
fix it in the gym. Don't go back to the public in December.
Yeah.
Go back to the public April.
Yeah.
February. Take some time to make sure that the whole team is together and the whole team feels like we're ready to be shown on TV. And for this last one that I'm done, Malik Montgomery, my dad's fighter, has been on TV one time since my dad's had him. And my first thing was, "Hey, Dad, when you gonna get him on TV?" Yeah. I think the kid was 4-0 or 5-0 when my dad got him. What's he now? 15-0, 14-15-0.
Yeah.
14-15-0. Yeah. My dad, when I said, "Hey, Dad, FS1, so on and so forth," my dad said, "We're not doing that." I said, "Why not?" He said, "I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna make sure I know what I got, and then once I know what I got, I'm gonna make sure he can produce. I'm gonna make sure he's ready, TV ready. This kid now is not TV ready.
Yeah.
And in order for him to get TV ready, there's got to be 2 things. Number 1, he's got to get back in the lab, stay out of the public eye, stay out of social media, all that. And then number 2, somebody's got to be able to touch this and get them back reconnected. You talk to him about him not looking like hesitating and not having confidence. That's this and that's this. How is that? That's not this. That's not this. That's physical. Confidence is something that's internal.
Yeah.
So they got to build him up eternally as well.
But hey, Sean, outside the ring, he lives the life. He's a swag. He got the lady. He got it all. He got the look. He got the jewelry.
Only built for Cuban links.
He hanging with the stars.
It's great.
The swag outside the ring has to match the swag in the ring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if that's what you've created for yourself, now you got to adjust things so that you can produce.
Yeah.
I've realized this about myself. I told Dre this, and I also told Roy this. I said, yo, I appreciate you. I thank you for your friendship. Congratulations being a Hall of Famer, but I thank you for your friendship. I know that if I hadn't done the things that I've done, we might not be here. But I just thank you for your friendship. I'm grateful that I can be here with you to watch this. I told them that. And Roy was like, oh well, I'm big bro, man. Call me anytime you need me. And then of course Dre says the same thing. But I need them to understand that I understand that I've earned the right to be in that room.
Yeah.
If I didn't win the belts, there's definitely a lot of people that hit us up on Twitter that wouldn't be hitting me up.
Yeah.
I earned all of that. My man, you got it. I'm happy for you. Keep it. But now you got to adjust things so that you can keep it.
Yeah, and it also, and again, we're not that we're raining on Berlanga, but he fought in the main event. So it's not, this wasn't 5 fights down the card, and we're like, man, he had all those knockouts, but now he's struggling. You put him in the main event, so he's getting criticized like a main event fighter.
This what comes with being a star.
Yeah. And going to the frustration, we certainly don't need to elaborate on this point, but do you think the bite, which...
Oh, shoot. I didn't want to talk about that. I thought we was good.
No, we don't even have to elaborate. Do you think that is...
You bit somebody.
No. We're not talking
Do
about
you think
it.
that's a sign
Abuse
of overall? Is that his frustration? Because he mentioned, he was hitting me, elbowing me. I think that actually was more of a frustration of everything. Yeah, that the fight's not going your way. It's not this. I don't think it was just because he was elbowing.
Yeah, speaking of a biter,
It was only 4 rounds for me. A 4-round fight.
what round he bit him?
Like
It was later
8.
than that.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought-
like
I thought
8.
8, 7.
got
It was only a
fast.
4-round fight for me.
You said,
And I wasn't able to get off the way I wanted to get off. And I was young. Something in my mind said, bite. And so,
With the saber-tooth tigers.
yeah,
teeth.
it was a real quick one. It was a real quick one. He said, he bit me. I said, no, I didn't. Keep fighting. You know what I mean?
That dude still has an impression of big ass teeth in his shoulder.
Shout out to Corey
Hey,
Jones.
I fought Sean as an amateur.
Like, no,
no,
you
you didn't.
Shout out.
Right here. It's like it is like a dinosaur, a fossil on the shoulder.
I saw a tweet. Somebody said, "What makes these guys do things like this?" And it's frustrating. No, I'm not proud of what I did. Like, it was a moment, and you make it through moments. And once you learn from them, you're supposed to never have no moments again. And he was clearly frustrated, and I didn't feel like there was anything he should be frustrated about.
No,
But to my point,
Clearly
I won all 4 rounds.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to get off like I wanted to, and I was mad.
And I was glad that because his post fight was a bit, it was making a joke out of it, which it's not a joke. He could have been disqualified.
Yeah.
You can't really gripe about that. If they DQ you, you're DQ'd.
Yeah.
And then afterwards on Twitter, he was like, hey, I shouldn't have joked about it. I was wrong to do it. So I appreciated that at least, that he did kind of steer the course back to, because afterwards he's like, oh yeah, Mike Tyson, I bit him. It's like, yeah, that's not great. It's not something really.
And he's blessed to have something Sean never had. He has power. So all you got to do is work on a couple things and boom.
Yeah, and get back to
hear
delivering
that?
it.
Mute him. Yeah.
So next, where do we want to go? We want to go Hall of Fame?
Well, here, let's go here where Royal
We have-
Talk Podcast asked
okay.
Ant and Carson, you ever gonna spar?
No.
No, we're not.
Short answer. There you go.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you for spending whatever you did on that. But yeah, no.
He spent $4.99. You want me to send it back to him?
No.
Here go me and Sean Carson.
Boom.
Boom. That's sparring for
Yeah,
you right there,
appreciate
baby.
it.
Rewind back to, was that episode 5?
Oh, yeah. That was early.
Why do you think that's so funny?
Hey, listen, when we did that episode, y'all know I don't watch the show.
You replayed that
I
about
replayed that
100
so
times.
many times.
Yeah.
Carson said, Ant said, we gonna fight? Carson said, we're not gonna
I
fight.
wasn't talking to
Yeah,
Carson.
no,
Yeah.
I wasn't going for it.
And then we got one more
That's a paragraph there.
average boxing fan. What's y'all honest opinion on Leonard's take on nobody cares about the belts? So why even undispute? Yo, Sean, you're my number one, or you're one of my favorite all time. Thank you, average boxing fan.
I feel like you added in the second part.
BXNG fan.
Well,
Because you were reading for a second, then I felt
With
like
the
you were freestyling towards the end.
right.
well, if they don't care about him, there's this fact that may offset that a little bit. With the exception of Mayweather McGregor, who McGregor in his own sport was a the first 2 division champ, reigning at that time,
Sure.
but not a UFC guy. But no, but every big fight, Mayweather Pacquiao, Mayweather Canelo, Tyson Holyfield, De La Hoya Trinidad, were for titles.
Yeah.
So look, there's guys who fight for titles all the time and can't sell 5,000 tickets, but every big fight has involved them in the history of the sport, except for Mayweather McGregor.
When I started working for Fox, they were always trying to get championship fights. And so I asked,
And the WBA was like, "We got you."
asked the producer one day, you guys seem like you're pushing for championship fights. People understand belts. They may not know who's fighting.
Right.
They may not know who has
It's
the
for
belts.
the championship?
Yeah,
That's how
but
right.
people understand when they see the belt in the ring. It's always going to be helpful when you got a promotion on TV when you can just have a trinket in the ring. They say somebody might be walking by and see it on TV. They'll stop and watch. So for the sake of words, that's another reason. It's just you do it.
George Kambosos couldn't even had to venture overseas because he couldn't sell tickets back home like that, right?
Yeah.
He just sold almost 50,000. What changed?
Yeah, the
4 belts.
Yeah, and I just think from a diehard fight fan perspective, I think the way that may have been taken from their end is you don't want to fight the top guys, because if you're saying, yeah, the belts don't matter, well then you're not fighting a champion, so you're probably not fighting one of the top few guys in the division. If you're looking at 35 right now,
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with it.
And
but-
well, in Leonard's case, his point, Tank doesn't really. He's got the WBA, one of the WBA
So do
titles. But that's it.
Yeah.
And so while those guys are undisputed and got X amount of belts, he's got the money, he's got the fame, and for him, the belt doesn't matter.
and if
belts
you're
don't matter.
I'll take
Leonard
that.
Ellerbe,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Why would you put him in there with the champion if you can make the same money, sell the same ticket?
Well, his point.
It's not a lot of boxers that have crossed over. Floyd Mayweather, Canelo, maybe Wilder. Tank is the next one. He has crossed over and got that other fan base.
Yeah, Madonna was there.
Say that.
Like
Oh, I thought you were talking about Marcos Madonna.
No, Madonna.
Madonna.
No,
When you said it on Fight Now, I was like,
Yeah.
where Madonna at?
Yeah.
and the real point of what Leonard's saying is there's a lot of champions in boxing, literally 100 or so.
Of course.
But only very, 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 very few can really sell out stadiums and are stars. So clearly the belts are far from the end all be all. But I wouldn't go so far as to say they're just completely meaningless.
Yeah, and it's gonna completely depend on the fighter. Like obviously Leonard in that case is talking about Gervonta Tank Davis. Does it matter for Tank? Maybe not as much as for, you mentioned George Kambosos. He needed the belts. Some people need the
Usyk.
belts. That's fine. Yeah, Usyk. There are fighters with the belts matter. There are fighters the belts don't matter.
Speaking of
Tank Davis.
belts and fighters,
Yeah.
when the nicest guy in boxing going to defend his title? Because all he do is sit at home and play tic-tac-toe. I don't know what he does with Leo Santa Cruz. Boy, he hasn't defended that
Think
belt
he's
in
a tic-tac-toe guy?
3 years. I don't know. He don't hit that hard, so I figure he play a lot of tic-tac-toe.
Y'all see him and Mike Sayo. That's the fight for him.
But is that the defending of that title? Because he hasn't defended that
I think
title.
heuld have to go to 20 back. He's a 30 pounds. He has to go back down to
So
26.
let the title go, bro. You just holding the title.
Yeah.
Don't be try to be nice. Because if they did that when you was fighting, you would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Leo is to the point where he also kind of, at this point, belt. I'm not sure that belt matters that much to him as a
Leo
fighter. He's going to get big fights, and he will sell fights well, I think, whether he has the belt or not. But so do we want to go? You mentioned. So you want to go Hall of Fame, or do you want to go the unification fight? The world is yours.
What's the unification fight?
Smith and
George
Beterbiev.
Smith.
Oh,
We're gonna watch it at the house, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, that was what you were talking
Everybody,
about.
you're welcome to come over to Shawn Zitel's house.
Yeah.
Your address is what?
Hit me up on Instagram. Let me fill you out a little bit. See if I
There'll be a brief,
trust you.
brief questionnaire,
Yeah.
and you may be permitted. But Beterbiev and Joe Smith. One fight on the undercard that I believe is the co-main, and actually a pretty decent fight.
Those undercards. What?
Robesi Ramirez, who I believe works with one coach Larry Wade,
And is getting really getting good as a pro now.
and had a huge knockout in his last fight. And he's fighting Abraham Nova, and Abraham Nova's mascot, I'm hoping, will be in the building. But that's a nice fight.
That's a high profile fight right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good fight because I think they're both ascending. They're both trying to get to the title spot.
That's nice. In deep water.
I don't really understand
Hey,
it.
I don't care. It looks nice.
Yeah, dude.
I was waiting to see Sebastian the Crab in the background from Little Mermaid.
That is fly.
Yeah, Carson's a hater.
I just didn't understand. I just don't.
Hey, look,
I don't
he comparing
understand
his.
the relevance.
You see me?
He literally looked up and said,
That's unbelievable.
"Yeah, man, he got me.
That's unbelievable.
He got. They
Terrible.
got me. I thought mine was hard. He got me on that one because that one is hard.
Yeah,
but
I just
And
don't
you
really
didn't believe
understand
that I'm competitive. Like, there you go. I did. Look,
But
look right
I
at
do.
it, like,
I think the co-main is going to set the table well. And
And
also,
Robazy's turning that corner as a
and we
pro.
also have a lot of the. We have Shushu Carrington,
young,
on the card.
young guns.
Shoot.
Again.
Troy Isley,
Brooklyn in the house.
and Jahai Tucker.
we got a good.
He is really good. I'm not sure if Zitel's a fan as well. Jahai Tucker.
Young kid.
I gotta study him better.
Yeah, he is good. He is damn good.
I've heard in the gyms really good things about him.
Yeah.
Top Rank's not putting together bad cards, Carson.
They got a great litany of prospects.
Yeah.
Deep stable of young talent.
Yeah, and it's fun. Even in these fights, and a lot of them, to be fair, you look right now, they might still be Bruce Carrington versus TBA, but you still get to see Bruce Carrington, which is good, and you get to see these guys when they're young.
That
but
TBA, man.
Yeah.
Talk about a veteran.
yeah,
Is that what it says on it right now?
usually, yeah, or
Oh, okay.
TBD to be determined.
Oh, you had a
You know,
fight
you
one
like-
time. You had a fight one time. It said TBA.
Yeah.
Then we got for Sebastian Formella.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bonet.
Come on. One day TBA is not going to get ducked and he's going to get his fight.
Yeah, he's gonna work his way into a mandatory position.
TBE.
Heard Sean.
Oh,
But what about TBA?
Heard Sean a couple times.
Bonet was lighting his ass
If he
up.
wouldn't have crossed, if Sean wouldn't have crossed him,
Come on, let's get it.
So main event, Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr. title unification fight. Any initial thoughts from anyone?
Nope.
Around perfect. All right.
I
So
don't think
Word?
it's such
No
a bad
disrespect.
fight. I'm gonna be
None?
honest,
No
man.
Like at all?
No, I got
I
nothing.
don't think. Hey, Joe Smith have fought everybody, man. Hart, Hopkins, Bevo. He went 12.
Fonfaro when he was hot.
Yeah, the guy's tough. Which Joe Smith shows up? Who knows?
and he can punch like a MF too. So I mean,
I think his power is real.
Oh, yeah.
Better be
his power is
been
real.
down before.
you have
Against
Callum Johnson.
yeah in this fight you have two guys that can put you out.
Yep.
I mean, Bernard got pushed out of the ring, obviously.
Yeah, he definitely is Joe Smith. Is Joe Smith pushed him?
Joe allegedly
No, he did
with a
push him.
punch. Shot the executioner,
Yeah,
but
pushed him.
Joe Smith and Beterbiev, both of them can thump. I do think Beterbiev wins. I just don't think. You mentioned it when we were recapping the Marcus Brown fight for Beterbiev. That Marcus Brown, when he found success, fighting off the back foot, boxing a little bit. Not really Joe Smith's MO of just being.
Although
he's
been trying
working
to
on
improve at it. Yeah.
And we mentioned that.
Got a solid jab.
Yeah.
Yeah, was
It's
it
gotten
the,
better.
Was it the? I think it was the Vlasov fight for Joe Smith. That
was close.
I think we were like, yeah, it's a close fight, but he was boxing a little bit more, maybe. So maybe he has a little bit of that in his.
He may, even though it's Beterbiev with the 100% KO percentage,
Yeah.
Beterbiev will touch you up for a while and get you out of there. And Smith may actually be, maybe by this, the better one-punch knockout
Better
on
be
this guy.
breaks you down.
Yes, and I'll go with Beterbiev. I'll go with the favorite. He's a shorter, more compact puncher. That's my main reasoning there. Keeps his hands up better, too. A little bit better defensively, tighter defense, and his punches are shorter and more compact. But that said, Smith might actually hit a little harder, and the big intangible for Smith is he could take a punch really well, not just give one. But like you said, Beterbiev in Chicago got dropped twice by Callum Johnson. So if Callum Johnson could find that chin and drop him, wasn't flash knockdowns either. He dropped.
And he recovered
He
fast,
did.
and
He did.
he ended up winning by knockout. But
He did, but Smith touches that chin in the same way. Maybe he could win the fight by knockout. So I don't count out Smith by knockout, but I think Beterbiev, shorter puncher, better defense. I'll go with Beterbiev.
I'll go as well.
the winner get Bevo.
I've actually always liked Bivol better than Beterbiev, but
Yeah, Beterbiev he's not the same talent he was early on.
You said Canelo was gonna make easy work of Beterbiev.
Hey, man, chill out, man. Chill out.
that hasn't aged
Why you
well
always
so
bring that
far.
up?
I mean, they never got in the ring, but it hasn't aged well
We
so
always
far.
said anyway was gonna lose.
John Scully probably laughed his ass off after Canelo lost to Bivol about what I
I know
said.
I did, but
Yeah.
Frank Sabaka, Joe Smith
Shout out to
Jr.
John.
But
So we got late round stoppage. I think that's what I'm going with. Late round
Yeah.
stoppage. Beterbiev.
I wonder what the odds are.
I'll say
You're an odds
Beterbiev
guy.
goes the distance for the first
what
time in
about
his
for the
career.
decision?
Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I wouldn't be shocked if it went the distance. But Beterbiev, you talk about just like unrelenting. He's like he just you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
He's just gonna keep coming forward.
Yeah.
Even in that fight against Marcus Brown, he split completely across the forehead, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Nope, sorry."
That's
Brown-
that's the
Track
only
you
time
down.
I saw Beterbiev. I haven't watched
Yeah.
any other fight but that.
You sure
one,
you didn't
which is-
catch when he fought Vazdik?
Nope. That's why I'm keeping my mouth shut because I can't. You know what I mean? I don't want to. So
I know when he fought Marcus
You have
Brown.
some good stuff for us after the fight. though.
yeah,
I know that.
yeah.
I was a
try to
little
always be
bit-
ready with that.
I was a little bit more impressed going into it or coming out of it than going into it with Beterbiev's athleticism. I thought he's a little bit quicker on his feet than I perceived him to be going into it. But I think that'll be a good fight. We'll see if Ant
Although he
can-
did struggle to punch in the center of the ring in that fight. He could only let
odds,
go.
odds are looking crazy.
Yeah, odds. So we got
Let's hear it.
Joe Smith plus 550. So put down $100, get you $650. To win $100, you got to put down $1,000 to Beterbiev to win.
Dang, the Bucks feel like it's that bit. What?
Yeah,
And do we have anything on decision or knockout or anything, or it doesn't go?
Yeah. What if I take Beterbiev decision? Can I make some money?
if you take Beterbiev decision,
That's the one I'm intrigued by.
decision, it's gonna cost you to make some money. So
Dang, really?
yeah, it's gonna cost
So
you.
they respect that chin.
Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not happy about that.
Just
but-
strong dude, Joe Smith. Super strong.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You said, "Dang, really? Like you gonna really bet some money?"
I'm surprised.
You said, "Dang, really?"
I was hoping Ant was gonna bet money. I was gonna
Let's
ride
do it
with
this
him
time.
on that. But
This was gonna be the time.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
but outside of that, yeah, you and Zittel were out there in New York.
Yes, we were.
How was it, big dog?
Beautiful, man.
It was,
beautiful. End of my weekend ended rough, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I got a little choked up during some of the speeches.
I thought you cried based
No.
on your tweet.
Why
Did
keep
you?
saying
Did you?
He said
thought
he
he cried.
cried a bunch.
No, I didn't.
I thought he did.
No, but it was few. Look, I saw the true spirit of what makes fighters fighters when they spoke, and reminded me of why I fell in love with the sport so much when each one of these great champions went up there. Marquez was quick. This is for the Mexican fans. I knocked out Pacquiao.
That's
James.
disrespectful.
But James Toney told me afterwards, hey, I was hungry by the time they got to me, so my speech was quick because I wanted to eat. And
Shout out to Juan
James Toney,
Manuel.
my kinda guy.
We talked. We walked and talked for a little bit. He's speaking really good English.
Oh, yeah.
Says that he's taking English classes, and then I was like, yeah, I know a little Spanish. We talked for a little bit, and
This is Juan Manuel Marquez.
yeah.
I wanted to see you guys fight back in the
dude.
day.
I already knew that, but it's always good to get that confirmation.
right before he retired, I was kind of like, I wanted to see him fight Shawn.
Yeah.
Was that
Right,
a
when
fight you thought might happen?
No. I
don't know
I
why
do
it
remember,
didn't for me either. for
I
some
remember
reason.
one time they were talking about what guys were up there that I could fight. And when that name was mentioned, I didn't say nothing, but I was like,
According to a big dog over at PBC,
Counter punches is serious.
Porter was offered to fight and ducked it.
No, that was Josecito Lopez.
everybody, all of our Porterway podcast followers knows I don't duck nothing.
That's right.
I just like it.
But like Ann Wolf the night before, she said this speech the night before at the banquet when she said, I was basically homeless. I had children. I had nothing. And I listened out for the words of God, and I heard the word fight. And she did that, and she's a part of the first class of women to get in the Hall of Fame. Beautiful speech. Bernard, what he said to his son. Beautiful. Floyd Mayweather. I loved his speech. Maybe some people didn't because whatever. But it reminded me of Michael Jordan's speech where, Michael's going up there and maybe some people want to hear the heartfelt stuff, and Floyd included that. But he went up there and said, I'm the greatest basketball player of all time. And I busted his ass and his ass. If I was still playing, I'd bust his ass. And so Floyd goes up there and says, there's no fighter better than me now. There's no fighter better than me in the past. There's no fighter better than me in the future. And that was Floyd being Floyd. And that's a peek into what his mind
That was verbatim, though. I mean, that
Yeah.
wasn't verbatim. He
Basically.
but he didn't say those words exactly.
He did. No, he did.
Hey, I didn't
essentially.
hear.
I missed it.
Sean was sleeping.
Hey, Carson. I don't think Carson probably heard it much, too,
didn't.
but I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
If he said it.
Yeah. And Andre Ward, beautiful speech.
Yeah.
It was touching stuff, man. It's what the sport was all about.
Yeah.
Just amazing special fighters and people.
One thing I heard, and sorry to cut you off, one thing I heard my guy Rich Diggs pointed out, and this stat didn't even, I was like, no way. Andre Ward not only obviously goes undefeated, hasn't lost since he was 12, I think was the number. He never lost on a card as a professional. Not one single card.
I thought he got dropped in a round.
No, I'm talking
Darnell
about
Boone
in
and
a
Kovalev,
card.
yeah.
So every decision he won, unanimous. He no judge ever had him losing
Oh,
a fight.
okay, got you. I was like, I don't think about that.
What?
Everything
Floyd
about-
lost one time.
No, he lost. Floyd had to have lost on other cards, didn't he? He didn't have any
I got
split decisions.
Canelo card.
Yeah, it was
Well,
a
the
draw.
Canelo one was a draw.
Oscar De La Hoya
Oscar-
was a split.
Yeah, split decision. Yeah, so
I'm
Floyd, I'm just saying that, and even to your point, like
nah,
Floyd
it's
being the
impressive.
great, I was like, holy shit, that's
Although,
pretty damn impressive.
But I thought you meant like didn't lose
never
a
lost a
round. That
round,
would have been
yeah.
crazy.
No, shout out to Dre. Y'all already know how big a fan I am of Dre.
documentary coming soon on
Yeah,
Showtime.
he's got a doc that he's it's not done yet, but it's moving and it's gonna go to Showtime. And he says he's working on the book. Y'all be ready for that book. He wasn't exaggerating. It's gonna be a long book. It's gonna be lengthy. He said I'm gonna get into some things that people would have never known or even imagined in their wildest dreams about me. So definitely want to shout out Andre Ward. I just go all the way back to the beginning of the week. I was saying you guys got to come out here. You got to experience this. Canastota, New York is a random city in almost nowhere. 35 minutes from
Sold.
Syracuse.
I'm in.
It's so hard. It's because I spoke to Ellie today. Secbag. Shout out to ES News.
Yeah.
And Ellie was like, "Yo, tell me, man, what'd you think?" And I was like, "Well, Ellie, you tell me." He said, "Man, I had mixed emotions." I was like, "Yeah, man, me too." He said, "It felt like a Hall of
whatever anyone says.
it felt like a Hall of Fame weekend because we had the same thought.
Okay.
It felt like a Hall of Fame weekend, but it didn't feel big enough. It didn't feel like all.
I agree.
This is a boxing Hall of Fame.
No, I agree.
Should feel like basketball's All-Star weekend.
It should have got the love Tank got.
It should have got the love that Tank got. We got to figure this out because those people should be in the room when these fighters go into the Hall of
Is
Fame.
it location maybe?
I got a
Part of it,
feeling
you know,
it's
in
location.
Small upstate New York, and it's a humble, setup, and it's nice. It's beautiful weather, but
No knock on them. Don't want to move it.
in comparison
Nothing.
to the Football Hall of Fame or the
Gonna say,
NBA Hall of
yeah.
Fame,
but we
it's small.
grew up, but we grew
yeah.
up in. We both grew up in Northeast Ohio.
And I was gonna say the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
It gets decent, but it's not
Yeah.
like
Oh,
even Hall of,
I've never been to the NFL Hall of Fame.
yeah,
in
it's in
Canton.
Canton, Ohio.
But-
it's not like a huge thing.
It's
But
not?
the induction ceremony is.
Yeah, but also the NFL
And
is
it's,
the
and it's
biggest
football. Yeah,
sport
yeah, and it's football.
in
Yeah,
the
it's
country.
football. Yeah. I was like, man,
So
something was missing.
Why don't Porter Wade do something?
No, what I
about it?
wanted.
We working on that. Big
I
dog. We
wanted-
working on that.
As a fan, I wanted more interactions amongst
Yeah,
them. And,
yeah.
and maybe I was even thinking when we were at the banquet, I'm like, maybe this should be a roast dinner.
Yeah.
That
You
would
know,
be fun.
Yeah.
wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Doesn't that sound awesome? Maybe have someone like, I don't know, a Mike
Adrian
Epps
Browner.
host it or Pierre.
Yeah.
Pierre could host it.
Yeah.
And each guy go up there, keep it in good fun.
Yeah.
So that these champs don't
get
get out of
ass.
retirement and start fighting each other again.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that, and I want to just, if there's any way they could set these guys up for more interactions.
Yeah.
And sometimes they did. You sat between Layla and Ann Wolf, and the interaction was what it was. But
Yeah.
as a fan, I'm yearning for those moments of Roy and James.
Yeah.
You can still do it right. I'm just kidding, But I would like to see that, and maybe a roast ceremony
Yeah.
or something like that. I don't
I
know.
think
Did
that
Roy go up to him and hit him with the?
Kind of like
with
a
the
thing.
Gamecock move?
Put them two in the ring and kind of talk about how the fight would go if we would've.
Yeah. But,
That's.
They fought though.
I'm just saying. Just let them keep.
or
going.
you're
no,
talking
go
about
down memory
anyone.
lane.
Talk shit. Yeah,
I
talk
thought you were
shit.
talking
Because
about
you know they
Tony and
both.
Roy. I was like, no, they actually.
You know
fought.
they gonna
That
go.
happened.
They gonna go.
Oh, for sure.
They uncles.
because they do that. They have the boxing talk when they have fighters come up, talk about their careers and all those types of things. It's another great idea. I love the roast idea.
Smartest guy I know.
But then the other idea of having both those men in actual boxing ring talking about what they were thinking about in certain points of the fight.
Yes.
Remember, I was talking to Terrence and we got a little bit into, and now I was talking to Arrow. We talked a little bit about
People love
certain
that.
moments. Keith Thurman.
People love that.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
of the most popular episodes you've done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, make Floyd and Cotto talk to each other for a second. Get them to talk about what it was like, what they remember about each other.
I dominated the fight, but he's a hell of a fighter.
But you'll also need willing and
Yeah.
not able participants, but some fighters are a little bit dry, to be honest. Not every fighter is charismatic. Not every fighter is
Right.
that competitive now that they're going to be like, no, if we fought, I would have done this. Some of them are going to be like,
But
yeah.
there's a lot that will.
Of course, absolutely. And a lot of those guys this weekend.
Yeah.
I feel like we would have felt similar.
I think
but,
Hearns told me he'll whoop your ass, right? Told you you'll whoop.
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
Tommy Hearns told you that?
Yeah.
He
Right
tells
here.
it.
Right here.
Yeah, right here too. Yeah, told me twice, and I believed him twice. But no, everybody, when you fast forward to what did happen, I thought overall the night was much shorter than I expected it to be. We had Bernard Hopkins going in, we had Roy Jones going in, we had Mayweather going in. I think that on the stage, those were the two probably lengthiest speakers that we know in boxing. And I thought, Mayweather was definitely much shorter than I expected him to be. I thought he would go probably twice what he did. So I was happy that he didn't. And I thought everybody did a very good job of kind of just accepting the award and in the moment. Dre, we were talking night before, we were talking Saturday, and he's like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna say. He says, I got to write something down. I haven't been able to figure it out. And, so he was kind of pulling on me, was pulling on Ann Wolf. He was pulling on Roy Jones. He was pulling on everybody to kind of.
Did you use any of your lines?
No. I didn't tell him. I said,
if I would have heard adversity makes champions in that speech.
Only thing I said, Dre, man, I've done this plenty of times, and I wake up morning of and something comes to me. Eventually something's gonna come to you, and he went up and he did a fantastic job. Roy, we're waiting on Roy right now. I'm trying my best to remain professional and not call him.
50-50.
But we waiting on Roy right now, so hopefully he get on
get
here.
your ass whooped. 60-40, I kick your ass.
And Roy told him,
I was happy Tarver was there.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah.
I was too. He says before and after. I'm a fan of this sport. So.
There's just nothing better than.
Don't say it. He's about to come on.
Oh, that's fine.
No, he's not coming on.
All right, cool.
Or
we know how that went last time. He gonna be like, who the hell said that?
who?
Antonio Tarver.
Oh,
Hey.
And I love Y'all Must Have Forgot, but I do love Can't Be Touched and Mr. Unstoppable better. I wish we could have got a 3-song concert out of Roy, but it's cool.
Big Bodies, also another great song by Roy.
Bodyhead.
Yeah, Bodyhead bangers.
Roy didn't pick up the phone.
Fair enough.
So
Call John.
So
He'll
Dre,
talk about him.
Dre walked. Dre said he asked Roy, what Roy had prepared, and Roy said, "I'm gonna just go off the cuff, and I'm a freestyle."
Kicking the freestyle, okay.
Hey, play the acceptance speech. This is the end of Roy's acceptance
Courtesy
speech.
of ES News.
Yeah, he said, courtesy of ES News. Thank you, Ellie, for getting this to us. He said, I came in here
Reporting,
y'all, and I'm going out entertaining y'all.
He turned pro in 1980. He defeated Bernard Hopkins for the IBF.
I told y'all he was slipping today. And then I put that in the text. I did put that
Take this from anybody's today. Anybody.
I think you have to kick over the podium.
You know how he said Roy Jones Jr. Remember that name? He should have said Roy right after that. Roy Jones Jr. Hall of Fame. Y'all must have forgot. He should. That's all.
Don't finish his bars. Don't step on his bars like that.
He's amazing. He did amazing.
Come on, man. White man always trying to change black man bars.
Right,
Eminem.
No, you're good. You're right. I take it back.
Did Eminem do that?
With some
I loved it.
With some athletes, not even just fighters, but with some, you're like, all right, what you got for us?
That's crazy.
Like with Floyd, it was, what you got for us. Bernard he's a human
I think
wisdom.
If you say hello to Bernard Hopkins,
yeah,
buckle up for a 45-minute conversation. No, it's good because a lot of it. I mean, Shawn interviewed with him, and it's just a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience.
That's all
he's gone through.
That's all he calls in. Average boxing fan, give me a Tank versus Rayo Valenzuela.
Rayo's not prepared for that fight yet. It's just not prepared for that fight yet.
I would like it down the road, though.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, down the road, absolutely.
My 2021 prospect of the year.
Is he?
Absolutely.
Oh no, down the line it could be a great fight.
Who did he fight? Vargas on undercard?
Nonito Vargas.
Knocked his block off in
did.
about 10 seconds.
He did.
What else we got? Anything good?
Then we got Sub-Zero Heating and Cooling. Shout out to Sub-Zero Heating and Cooling.
Could use some cooling in here now. But
Yeah,
go
he's
ahead.
always in the chat too.
Haney versus Shakira. Who wins?
Ooh.
He says he's got Shakira.
I
It's a
got
good
Shakira.
fight.
Easy money.
He's too good.
I'm not easy at all.
And
I'll
he
wait
said
till
he spars with Crawford.
I'll wait till that fight ever actually happens.
That's a mega fight.
But if you ever look at the one that's still up, because I guess they did spar a couple times and only one's still up, it was very 50-50. And when Haney tried to box with Stevenson on the outside, Stevenson was just a little sharper up the center, up the middle. But when Devin began to press forward and use his size and go to the body and back Stevenson up, he had more success.
I say 2 or
So
12.
That might be that might be a preview of what you're looking at. Devin might have to be the aggressor in that fight.
Yeah,
and
could
pose his size a little bit.
Boxer versus boxer.
You mad with $12 coming?
No. I thought it said 12. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, you mad at
I was
$12?
impressed. No,
Okay.
it's 2, which is also generous as well.
LB
But,
Slugger. He says Devin versus Shakira is a welterweight fight. Stay tuned.
yeah, could be.
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it'll happen. At
So a question that our guy Kid Hafey mentioned that I actually was going to ask you at some point. I wasn't sure it was going to be today, but no better time than the present. How do you feel about being the measuring stick between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence? That every conversation, usually, thankfully, they're kind enough to do it when you're not there.
And is it a fair measuring stick? Did they both fight the same?
Did they
Shawn
both fight
Porter?
Sean Porter at Sean
Yeah.
Porter Prime?
it's not a fair measuring stick because styles make fights. I've had people, especially when I went down there to Dallas, why you ain't fight Terrence the way you fought Errol? You should have fought Terrence the way you fought Errol. You'd have beat him. I'm like, I couldn't fight him with the same style, or at least I didn't think that I could fight him with the same style. And I really wouldn't say so. I mean, with Errol, we trained to do everything. We always train to do everything, but I think with Terrence, we trained to do everything, but we knew that there were specific things that we needed to set up, for the sake of words. And not that we didn't need to set them up with Errol, it just the fight just was a little bit different because of who we were fighting. They don't fight the same.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I don't think that I'm a fair measuring stick because neither of them fight like me. So if you look at Errol, you say, well, Errol couldn't handle this, couldn't handle that. Terrence couldn't handle this, couldn't handle that. They don't fight each other. They wouldn't fight. Terrence wouldn't come to the ring fighting like me, neither would Errol. So it's definitely it's humbling, when people talk about it, but I'm like,
Not as humbling in that case when it's like, hey, he got knocked out by Terrence Crawford.
Because you get that too,
And that's what I think
he stood up to Errol's best punch, but then he got stopped by Terrence.
That's what Tyson, his quote was pretty much, well, look what happened when they both fought Shawn Porter.
Yeah.
Look what one did. Look what the other did. Which I'm not sure it's fair. And I also there's just like swirling narratives of, this happened and this happened. Oh well, Shawn Porter he was halfway out. He was only a foot in boxing. He was gonna retire anyway. Oh, he's Terrence Crawford's friend, so he didn't.
The great part about it is like
you never know.
I like to equate the biggest fights in boxing to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I think on any given night, any given Sunday, one
Shout out to Willie Beeman.
or the other team can win. And it's always, you see in the Super Bowl, it's always about moments. And the same thing for boxing. At the elite level, at the highest level, it's all about moments. And I think Errol was able to capitalize on one moment, whereas I gave Terrence a couple of moments, and he was able to capitalize on a couple of moments, So I don't think it was really so much me having one foot out, in and out, so on and so forth. I think it was simply the moment, and the moment was just a little smidgen bit greater for Terrence when in the moment that it counted.
So I guess to summarize, you do not think your performance against both is an indicator of what would happen in that fight.
Nope.
Just based on result.
Well, if you base it on result, no.
That's what a lot of it is. It's
you
he
can't
went
base
the
it on
distance with
result.
Errol, he got stopped versus Bud, and then
that's elementary school to me.
And then your dad gets thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
God love him.
Yeah, that's elementary to me. If you look at, if you tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but if you look at a fight, you say, well, that guy's gonna stop that guy because that guy stopped him. That's elementary.
Joe Frazier beat Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And so, George Foreman knocks out Joe Frazier. So clearly George Foreman is going to knock out Muhammad Ali. But nope.
It also
Exactly.
it's very important to mention this, and I can't stress this enough. You could be a fan of both of them, to be honest with you. You could be a fan of Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., and you can predict the fight however you want to, but They're both great fighters. They're the two best welterweights on the planet and two of the best fighters on the planet. It's just very divisive. It's like, oh, well, no, I'm a Terrence Crawford guy, so I can't give Errol any credit.
Yeah.
And then the Errol Spence fans, I can't give Terrence any credit. They're both great fighters, both great guys.
And during that press run, you know who somebody told me who's going to be the most talked about people in that press conference is Shawn Porter, Kenny Porter.
Yeah,
They're going to bring them up all day long.
Yeah, I don't think your dad would want to watch much of that, but he just gets they pepper him throughout that conversation as much as possible.
Pepper.
Because it's just like they'll
sprinkle
be like,
them in.
Put some Kenny on it.
they're like, yeah, we got stopped. Oh yes, because Kenny Porter. I'm like, oh, whoa, take it easy, take it easy.
Y'all
We
good
got-
in here?
I'm hot. I'm hot in
Is
here.
it ready to go? I'm ready to go. If you're ready to
Yeah,
go.
because I'm ready
gotta
to go.
get back to wifey's
It is
party.
hot. And,
Yeah.
and you gotta get.
You
back to
left a
wifey.
party to come
What
do
else
this?
you got? We got nothing else. Super
Again, we
chill.
want to say happy birthday to Sammy,
Absolutely.
one of the most beautiful people in this world, inside and out. That we
Yeah,
personally, you know.
yeah, man.
Beyond that,
You got a good one.
we didn't get.
We all got a
Bernard.
good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
we didn't get
really,
Roy.
We really are all blessed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Boom.
yeah.
We didn't get
To
Roy.
deal with our shit.
I'm gonna hit him up. Excuse me. I'm gonna hit him up. I hit up Dre. So I was trying to like make this up. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you please do me a favor? Just text Roy and say, any excuses tonight, Roy?
No,
For why he didn't show up? Come on. If that's not a slam dunk. And if
no.
Roy Jones Jr.
He's
wouldn't appreciate
he's
that.
at the gym and he said, "Hey, call me, remind me, blah blah blah."
He
blah,
must
blah.
have forgot.
We
Y'all.
That's another perfect
yeah.
one. Yeah.
you text him and say you must have forgot.
Yeah. And then say, any excuses tonight, Roy?
And what if you say y'all forgot?
He's human, we forget y'all, and he may as well.
Yeah.
It happens.
At any rate, so this is what I'm gonna do
Love you,
because
Roy.
I already text Dre. What I want to do is I want to roll out Hall of Famer by Hall of Famer over the next couple of weeks. So look to have a Hall of Fame guest consistently moving forward as we kind of move
Hey,
forward
we
with this
good. We
podcast.
still got you. You started off, man.
We got Devin Haney and his dad coming to the studio Sunday.
Perfect.
So this
Is that confirmed? You
It's
know,
confirmed. It's confirmed. The next episode will feature
also
Devin Haney.
Saw Bill
and his
Jr.
dad.
before I got over here. Shout out to Bill Jr.
And we'll obviously talk about it with the Haneys, but I wasn't here to acknowledge his performance against Kambosos. Holy shit.
Is that how you felt about it, huh?
Smoked his boots.
Come on, man.
That was unbelievable.
Shout out to Boots.
Shout out to Boots.
Oh man, with that beautiful lateral movement and jab,
Yeah.
Do you have a new favorite fighter?
No, but I love. I mean,
Best jab in boxing? I
got
said
it.
it. Okay.
You talk about just a supremely talented fighter and my preferred style of fighter, like you said. That was you mentioned before, and again we'll talk about it next week. That Shakur, when he's sparring, he just seems to control everything.
Yeah.
That's what Devin did.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yep, sorry, Kambosos,
Yeah.
not gonna get
Oh,
to you
he's
today."
still getting better too.
Of course,
We
he's still
haven't-
young.
yeah,
what,
we
what-
haven't
what a
seen-
stud.
That
worst
experience
part
for
is-
him, it's gonna take him a little.
He
Steps
stopped.
forward.
He stopped
Yeah.
Kambosos in the rematch.
Worst
Put
part,
that on the
we got to
record.
get a rematch.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
If I were again,
I say give him another boxing clinic, Carson.
I'm extremely uncompetitive or non-competitive, whatever the word would be. So my advice would be different. But if I'm Kambosos, I'm like, you know what? I'm good.
Nah, the money's too
The money's
good
good,
to
but I'm
say,
like,
yeah.
I got kind of embarrassed to an
You
extent in
can't-
front of
you
my
can't say
home
that.
fans. I'm
'Cause
good.
he's going to go for the stoppage.
He should have gone for the stoppage in this fight.
Yeah, I know.
He wouldn't have gotten it.
But
again,
that's all he has.
Yeah, what a performance from Devin. What a performance from Stephen Fulton. I wasn't here to say both of those, and David Morrell.
And congratulations again to all the Hall of Famers.
That was not a great performance.
Canastota, New York. If you
Shout
haven't
out to
been
Hot
there,
Sauce.
the next Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be June of next year, 2023. You definitely want to put that on your calendars and try to get there. It's an amazing time. And let's show the parade real quick.
Yeah,
and we'll end
Sean
on
was
the
out
parade.
there. Sean was out there waving.
Let's
to
tell
the
him where we're
people.
going to be on 4th of July, too, before we end.
I'm not ready.
I got you.
Yeah, we can go next week.
No,
Though.
I got you right now. I'm ready.
And this will be on FightHype. We ain't been able to get it up just yet because so much video is going up right now. So just,
FightHype.com.
Yes.
Shout out to Ben. Ben
Yes.
was out there.
yes,
New York?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
shout
They're-
out.
Sean!
The guy wears purple, don't you?
What
Yeah.
That was you?
Man, I had so much fun.
2
in this
times?
parade.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah, he kept
No, that was
yelling.
a random fan.
Yeah.
Wink.
I had so much fun in this
Jimmy.
parade.
There it
Jimmy,
is.
number one nicest guy in boxing.
You said
I'm
Leo.
replacing
You replaced
Leo,
Leo?
with Jimmy. And Miguel is just amazing.
He got the shirt unbuttoned. He got the chest out.
Signed a lot of autographs, Cotto. That's me. I got to be a fan a little bit this weekend.
Of course, that's what you're supposed to.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Miguel Cotto.
Yeah, I heard it. I was like 2 cars ahead, and I turned around like,
You were 2 cars ahead.
she can't be here next year.
Yeah.
She can't be here next year.
Sounds like a nice woman, but
No, it was fun. It's a lot for you guys to be a part of. If it happens that you guys want to go to the Hall of Fame
Before you get to this, that's what we'll close with. I'll be honest with you. I love you. You're my best friend in the world.
Oh shit.
I was hoping I was never gonna have to hear what time is it ever again.
Oh no. That's not going.
He's
anywhere.
never gonna let that.
All of a sudden,
Anytime soon.
I'm watching one of the live streams. I support. I was in the chat. You saw me in there, and all of a sudden, there's fans. Oh, they're all surrounding them, and then
Oh, look what we got.
my wife be damned. Let's go.
You want to shout out to what you got going on?
Yeah, we'll shout this out. 4th of July in LA. We got Unity Day in LA. It is a celebrity boxing match. We got Chop Curly versus Devin, the great Alexander. Sean Garcia versus Israel Mercado. Aaron Carter is fighting Chico DeBarge. Concrete is fighting Jay Valentino.
Is that Sean Garcia, Ryan Garcia's brother?
Ryan's gonna be there.
Okay, so it's probably his brother.
Yep, Sean Garcia. Yep, that's his brother.
I'll be interested to see what the rhythm of the night is.
There'll be a lot of
The barge.
lot of all-star people in attendance. Shane Mosley,
Hosted
Shane
by
Mosley
Tommy
Jr.
Davidson.
Hosted by Tommy Davidson.
Of Ace Ventura fame.
Oh, I'm hyped. Now I did not know that. So here, you do it. I didn't know.
Ray J being in attendance, possibly Snoop Dogg. I don't think I'm supposed to say that, but I said it. This is going to be at the Pomona Fairgrounds, the Fairplex in Pomona, California. 4th of July weekends. You can get your tickets at Visit United, whatever. Get your ticket. Just Google it.
Yeah.
Go on there,
In the
Google it.
description. In the description.
2:30 p.m.
But I believe we got one of the greatest fighters of all
Ever.
time.
No.
Ever. Waiting. So
Captain Hook.
And Carson won't be there. So
What's going on, Roy? How you feeling?
Doing good, brother. How y'all doing?
Hey man, thanks for jumping on real quick. We 10 to 15, and then we gonna get you up out of here. You what?
All right.
1 day, 2 days away from your Hall of Fame induction. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Feel real good. It's a great weekend, delightful weekend. Thank you for coming up and sharing it with us. I always enjoy seeing everybody. You know, it's like a family thing. You know, you're glad to see your family. All of us got them family members that we don't necessarily see eye to eye with, but it's still good to see them. You know.
Yeah.
Roy, man, awesome speech, and then the rapping after. It was so good. I wish we had 2 extra songs after it. We would have had a whole 3-song
Yeah, we
medley.
need an EP.
Yeah, but
I was trying to stick to my limit. I didn't want to go over and overdo the thing, but the song said more for me than I could have said on my own. So it's like I wanted to say the little bit I had to say, but then that song really took it to detail what I really feel and how I really feel. So it's like I know a lot of people say a lot of stuff, but facts are facts. You understand me? I covered more weight than anybody has ever successfully covered in the sport of boxing. I started as junior middleweight and went all the way to heavyweight. You feel me? Ain't but 1 pound for pound, but you don't want to sit there and argue and debate, so I just spit the song and let that speak for me.
Hey Roy, I knew you before I even knew you. You caused a really rupture in my family when I was about 5 years old in Louisiana. You had my uncles fight it out in the backyard, arguing over you fighting Tyson or something. I was like, man, what the who is Jones and Tyson? Hey, one of my uncles got slept. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say no names. But you had a good down south rumble at a barbecue.
That's all right.
hey, Roy, you know, one guy you almost kind of reminded me of in boxing was like Deion Sanders. You're like, you and Deion are kind of similar. These ridiculous talents with great personalities, but yet humble. You know, down south, humble guys that you can approach for an autograph or whatever. Why is that, Roy? Why are you on one hand, you'll tell anybody, I might be the greatest fighter of all time, or I am, but then on the other hand, very humble man that you can approach?
I usually ain't gonna say that unless I'm pushed into it or somebody else is saying it and I disagree. Otherwise, it's not for me to say it, for the fans to really say. And the greatest of all time in my book will always be Muhammad Ali, because without him, there'll be no me. And keeping that and knowing that without God, nothing's possible. Keep those things in mind, you're always able to stay humble. because when you know that God got to allow you to wake up before you even take your first breath of the day. If God don't allow that, if God don't want that, it's not going to happen. So are you really in control? Are you really all that you talk about? Or is God really in control? If you understand it, you know God is in control, but God does do things through us. And He gives us things through us to help to show His work, show His power, show everything He shows through His people. You understand me? So for Him to be able to do the things He did through me, I'm grateful and thankful that He used me to do it.
Do you look, obviously you went in with a ridiculously talented group of individuals from multiple years. With Floyd specifically, do you feel not competitive between the two of you, but kind of comparatively between your careers? I know in the interview you did with the Showtime podcast, you were a little fiery on there. Does Floyd kind of bring that competitive juice out of you?
Of course he does every time, because he talks about being the best, but I walk about being the best. So I like him. I love Floyd to death. He's a great guy. He's a great man. He did more for boxing than anybody ever has done it, for showing you that boxing is still relevant, because he made more money in boxing than football players, basketball players, everybody. But only bad thing is that only he can do that. Nobody else really was able to do that, because you got to have different like mindset, different type of humbleness to do that. And he had that humbleness to be able to do that. I wasn't humble enough to be able to wait around and hold and wait. That's not who I was, but that's not my DNA. So God didn't send Moses and David to do the same thing. Moses parted the Red Sea. David slayed Goliath. I was going to slay Goliath.
You know, Roy, a lot of people
right there.
a lot of people say, you know, the best fighters come from the Midwest. Hey, Florida don't have a bad list either. Who is your top 3 all-time Florida fighters? We already know you up there.
Probably, it's hard to say, man, because you got to think about it. You had Jeff Lacey, you had Nate Campbell, who came named Freddie Pendleton. There were top amateurs that people don't forgot about by the name of Clifford and Bernard Gray. Those guys, they for me, them guys back in their days, nothing like them, and they were amateur fighters. They never really got to be good pros, but amateur level, them guys, Winky right. I mean, it's just who the top 3 is, because I mean, it's some monsters come out of Florida. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Roy, who else you training right now? Are you still with Chris Eubank?
Hello.
We here.
Sorry, Roy, a little technical difficulties. What were you saying, Shawn?
Hello.
Ask him again.
He's still saying hello.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't imagine he didn't get my question though. You still there, Roy? Let's let him go. Hold him until we can get him back, and then we'll let him go. All right.
Oh, there's Roy.
You still there, Roy? He's answering the question now. You still there, Roy?
Technology.
Oh, he's back.
Down.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, Roy, keep working hard. We love you. And
we love you, Roy.
And we love everything you were able to do.
Thank you.
In front of us, the videos that we all watch, we can argue anybody.
You almost forgot about 50,000 times.
Mr. Unstoppable.
Yeah.
And still.
Greatest highlights of all time. One of the greatest fighters of all time. Mr.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Captain Hook.
Mr. Captain Hook himself, Roy Jones Jr. Thank you for coming on the podcast. We'll get you back soon. It's Cuddy. All right, so he came through as he said he would. Just thankful that he was able to get on and give us a minute of his time.
Better than nothing.
He already told me what he was doing and all that, but I figured we'd just take this shot anyway.
Yeah.
I had a great time on the live. Thank you guys for the chat and the questions. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
What's up? I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Ed. Follow me on IG, Ed with 2 T's.
This is the Porterweight Podcast. This is Anthony Brenagh, and this is Carson Merk. Tell them what to do.
Hey, like, subscribe, comment, follow us on all social media platforms.
Subscribe.
I'm from Louisiana. I'll talk with a B. Let's do it. Let's do it again.
All right. Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
And then you tell them what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Porter
You're
Way
here already.
Podcast.
You're already here.
Hey, this is our outro. We're going to do it how we want to.
I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Anthony Brenagh.
Carson A. Merk. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is the Porter Way.